Hey y'all, this is Willy, and this is the Undercover Dumpster Fire, the wrap of season 1. I just need to tell this story, although Matt isn't here. He's going to see this, and he'll think it's funny. And I just want to share a little bit that this year was our first year doing this podcast, and it has been a wild ride. And there have been many guests that were on here that I am inspired by. And also, there's so many stories out there and so many resources out there for first responders and veterans. And they usually come from other first responders and veterans. And I just think that's such a powerful, powerful way to speak to each other, that we look out for each other. And this is the close of our season 1. And if we look back, it's every episode I've learned something. And honestly, I think we learn more from our mistakes than we do our successes. There's a couple episodes. One, I know that we recorded and it did not go live to YouTube. And so I couldn't share it. And I apologize. This is also the Undercover Dumpster Fire, meaning we don't always have it together. And there's a couple other episodes where the audio was very echoey, and or I didn't have any audio, or I didn't have lights, or Matt didn't, or we came on late, went long. And you know what? Those are just fine, because we record live. This is not AI. This is not even edited. We just record. And I think about where I've come from in the last year. Whew. I like cry every single time I'm on camera, and I'm about to right now. And I don't even care. I think that we need to be real. I think that we need to be honest. I think that we also need to come together. I think that there's a lot of things going on in this world right now that don't make sense to people, that people are upset, that veterans and first responders especially feel overlooked, or that feel like they have some voice, some places, but not in the right places. And as this first year comes to a close, it's a good time to look back and reflect on where we started. And it's also a good time to look forward and see where you're going. And hopefully we're putting out our undercover dumpster fires a little bit anyway. And hopefully we're finding others who are in theirs, and we can have an effect on that, because we need each other. We're made to believe that we don't need anyone. We were supposed to suck it up, buttercup. And that's not accurate. That's what gets people hurt, and then eventually gets people killed. Unfortunately, suicide and substance use are unfortunately too prevalent. And this podcast started literally with just Matt calling me up and saying, "Hey, I got an idea. You want to do a podcast?" And of course, firefighters will just show up. You call a firefighter to a scene, we don't know what it is. You just show up and you figure it out. That's what I love about the fire service. Now, I haven't ridden backwards or forward in a fire engine other than my ride along when I retested a couple years ago, and got all the way to the end of that testing, and it didn't work out. It wasn't the right place. It wasn't the right time. I'm so glad it didn't, because I wouldn't even be on this video. I've been riding backwards again, which was fun. But, things happen for a reason. You don't have to agree with me. I think that people often think things are a coincidence, and they dismiss what's happening right in front of them. They don't see the signs. They don't see what's happening in their life. They don't see the people trying to help them. They don't see the attempts that, in my opinion, God does to reach out to us, myself included. And if you look back at our episodes, I'm glad that some of them didn't survive. You'll see a transformation that took place in this last year. And I wish I could see what happens on the other end of this video, Most of our videos get shadow banned, unfortunately, because i.e. me or someone drops certain words and we're recording live. And so our followers are actually people that follow, which I think is so cool that anyone would even listen to this. And we hope in the next year to up our game. So Undercover Dumpster Fire is currently being fed live to YouTube. And then I, in my spare time, because I have a lot, right, take it and put it on Spotify and then send that over to Apple. And we're almost there in that part. I don't have time to do everything, so everything isn't done the way that it's supposed to be. But I hope that we can delegate. I hope that we can inspire a few people. And it is really complicated to get near me or Matt for lots of reasons. But we do need help. We need help in the video production. We need help in the monetization. We have so many resources that I would love to share, and we're just two dudes trying to figure it out. And we would love if you would consider supporting this podcast, which I am so thrilled to tell you this, that this podcast is a nonprofit organization. And by the time you read this, or sorry, by the time that you watch this, whenever that might be, it will be an official 501c3 again. So in true fashion, I hadn't used a nonprofit that I started for 3 years, and I didn't know that they just cancel your 501c3. I was actually going to cancel it altogether because I thought, well, I'm just never going to use that. And that company is called Columbia Point Scholarship. Columbia Point Scholarship is named after Columbia Point, which is a 14,000-foot mountain in Colorado. That mountain is named after the space shuttle Columbia that exploded in 2004. It also sits next to Challenger Point, which is another 14,000-foot mountain. And that mountain is named after the space shuttle Challenger. So you don't know this, and this is going to date me, but when I was a kid, I remember being in the gym, and we watched TV, and we watched the space shuttle Challenger explode. That was my first experience with TV and watching something dramatic. And what we're going to do this next year is actually use media like we've never used before. What I'm calling it is resilience cinema, where we actually demonstrate what it looks like to be resilient on camera. And guess what? It's not just me. It's not just Matt. We have a production coming out called Roger That, and where we're going to invite all of the amazing heroes that you would really never hear from or see. We're inviting them to show us what they have on TV, to give an example for all of us to see that actually mental health and resiliency among veterans and first responders can be stronger than it is. We've been led to believe that it is weak, that there's nothing we can do, that we just have to accept that this is the way that it is. And what we intend to do is actually recruit a bunch of you, hopefully, that have awesome resources and things that you do that advocate for veterans and first responders in your own way, in your own unique way, just like a thumbprint. We're inviting you to apply to be on that TV show. It's a reality TV show. And this is where I get to have a little fun. As a creative person, I get to run people through immersive resilience training scenarios. And we're going to put special ops, we're going to put military, other military folks, and first responders together and given some disaster scenarios and watch these people work. And we're also going to watch their reactions to some of the stimulus, some of the real world things. And if you've been watching Undercover Dumpster Fire, then you already know what some of the stimulus is. Things that involve children, things that involve like brutal violence, things that involve moral injuries, the impact on family. We're going to show some of those things. It's not acting. These are real things. These are not, some of them are actually actors, but they are not asked to act. They're asked to be real. And they're asked to just show us who you are. We have a lot of people right now that have lost hope in our country. And I'm sad for our country. See? Being real. I'm sad because there's not a lot of choice. I'm told I have to be this way or that way. And I want to see people who inspire me because they exist. You just don't get to hear from them. So what we're going to do is take Undercover Dumpster Fire. This show is going to interview people who are going to be on that show. Roger that. that never gets old too, by the way. Lots of jokes can come from that. And that's also part of Roger that is comedy, is having fun, is remembering that actually comedy binds us together. So I'm going to encourage these people, and I might even introduce some things that lend the opportunity to introduce comedy, because comedy holds us together in the first responder and military world. So this show itself, Undercover Dumpster Fire, is leveling up. We're interviewing people who are going to be on Roger That, the TV miniseries. And in addition to that, I hope that we can monetize in some form or fashion, because Columbia Point Scholarship, which is doing business as Undercover Dumpster Fire, is a legitimate nonprofit. And there are so many things that we could do if we were given the opportunity to do it. I don't like asking for money. I really don't. I'm not even asking for it now. I feel like we need to attract the things that we need. I also feel like God gives us what we need in the moment for the things that He's calling us to do. So I already know within the system, within the people that this video is going to reach and this show reaches, the means are already there. So yeah, we don't have the best lighting. We don't have a studio. I'm in my apartment, and this is not a studio. I'm on my iPad. But you know what? We're still showing up. We're still going to bring you resilient cinema, something you've never seen before. And so this year comes to a close. It's been an amazing ride. I've had lots of ups and downs, grown in every way, and I've gained people, I've lost people, and we have so much to look forward to. So I hope you have a great holiday season. I hope that you have the ability to celebrate what you have done in your life, even though you probably discount it, because that's what we all do. It's part of our personality. But I hope you have a good new year, and I'll see you back. We will see you back. Season 2 starting in January. Undercover Dumpster Fire. Ashes to action, baby. You can even hear the sirens out